got time, cuz. Today I got time, cuz. You lucky on that day I was acting cool, cuz. Nigga, what's up? How gangster are you, cuz? I don't fuck with you, cuz you disrespecting me. I don't fuck with you, cuz you disrespecting me. I go hard, cuz.
Hey, everybody. I hope you guys are doing good today. Happy Monday. It's a lot to get into. Come on inside, y'all. We're going to make it members chat, of course, in just a moment. But before we do that, I just wanted to let you guys know this is going to be my last live stream for a while. So, y'all know I had to go deal with some medical stuff. So I will be gone for several weeks. I have an editor that I've been working with the past 2 months. So I'll still be releasing some of my evergreen content, my mini deep dives. And then we might also be releasing some other videos in between that. It won't be my voice though. They'll be the ones working on those. Those will be like more short, either news stories or viral stories, 5 to 10 minutes, just with like updated stuff of what's going on in the celebrity sphere and the political world. So he'll be working on some of that content for me while I'm gone. I will still be doing Zoom meetings as I can, but it may get to the point where I'm just not going to be able to, I just will not be feeling good and I won't be able to. But I will try and at least do a Zoom meeting weekly up until I just can't. And so I will be gone for a while from YouTube. I'm not even gonna lie. It's gonna be a while, but like I said, I'll still be trying to create content or be working with them to create content on the channel so the channel just doesn't go dormant and get kicked out the algorithm. But in the meantime, y'all can support by just watching, my old videos, my old content and stuff like that. All of that stuff will still be up. I have about 4 new videos that we've been working on over the past few weeks, just writing and editing. So those will be released once a week for like the next 4 weeks. So stay tuned to those mini deep dives. In the meantime, thank you guys all for y'all support and prayers and just, the wonderful comments. I'm definitely going to miss being live. I love live streaming and chopping it up with y'all. So yeah, this will be my last live for a while. I had to go and check into the hospital in like a day or two. So I'm like, let me go ahead and do this Monday live, and then we'll do our Discord, Zoom, and then I will be out of here for a bit. But I will be back. So yeah, it is a lot going on that we're going to go ahead and get into. Like, this story is everywhere, and I really, really want to talk about it. Let me see here. Let me go ahead and change this to members only. Give me just a second here. I love all my subscribers. So give us about 30 minutes, tea sippers, and then we'll have it where everybody can come in. So, all right. So it's the members only chat right now. Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for the thoughts and prayers. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely need them. You know what I mean? Going in with a clear head and just ready to go and do what I have to do to get, on the other side of everything I'm going through. But so we've had not one but 2 cases of young Black women getting caught up in some disturbing things. So I want to talk about what's her name? Ashlee Jenae, okay? A lot of people were sending me this story. I never seen this girl day in my life until this story went viral. I noticed now she's all of a sudden in my algorithm. Let me fix this. She's in my algorithm now. And this story is just very, very disturbing. And it's a lot of nuances. It's a lot of ways to really break this down. I've literally spent the past, I want to say 5 hours really digging, going through her social media, going through Joe's social media, and really trying to put together who these people were, because there's a lot of controversy surrounding her lifestyle, the fiance, even people accusing her of self-hate. And just a lot of stuff. So we're gonna talk about it. This is, this is not a simple, nuanced conversation. I want to hit as many angles as I can. And I want to also hear from you guys and see what you guys think about it as well. So let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and read to you guys this article. She's a beautiful, beautiful young lady, just gorgeous. So let me, okay. So this is her, Ashlee Jenae, okay? She was found dead in Tanzania, and her family and her friends are rejecting the suicide. I don't know, can I say suicide or not? The S side claims, okay? So let's read this article. A dream birthday trip to Africa, a fresh engagement to a wealthy financier, a soft life influencer who has finally found her happily ever after, and then reportedly Ashlee Jenae took her own life. And her friends and family are not buying it. Ashlee Jenae was a 31-year-old Miami-based lifestyle influencer who called herself a soft life divester on Instagram. First of all, I didn't even know there was a such thing as a soft life divester. I've just found out about these divester chicks in the past few years, but she's what you call a soft life divester. And what that means is a lot of them, promote living a soft life, interracial dating, not dating, Pookies and Tyrones and stuff like that, okay? So she's a soft life divester. So let's continue. Let's see here. She was found dead while on a luxury vacation in Tanzania. The trip was meant to celebrate her 31st birthday and her recent engagement to fiancé Joe McCann. He is the founder of Asymmetrical Financial. According to statements attributed to Tanzanian authorities and shared online by McCann himself, Jenae died by hanging. Suicide is the official claim that he's put forward, but the timeline has social media spiraling. Okay, they're saying that the fiance's story in the gaps. Photos from the trip still visible in the tributes across Instagram threads show Jenae beaming, radiant, freshly engaged, living what she called the soft life dreams at an upscale survival wildlife resort where rooms reportedly run $950 a night. Then days later, she was found dead. Friends and family have taken to Lipstick Alley, Reddit, and Instagram with unified messages of Ash would never commit suicide. One close friend wrote she was radiant with joy, freshly engaged, living her dream. This makes zero sense, but the details get murky. Some close to Jenae claim that she was found hanging from a tree and not inside the hotel room, as initially reported. Even more alarming, multiple posts allege that McCann waited 2 full days before notifying authorities or contacting her family. Then they say foul play or suicide. Online speculations have exploded. Some commenters on Reddit threads have gone further, accusing McCann of strangling Jenae and staging the scene to look like a hanging. Others point to the convenient timing right after the proposal and birthday celebrations as deeply suspicious. A woman who got engaged does not hang herself days later, reads a viral Instagram comment. Something is wrong here. As of April 12th, 2026, Tanzanian authorities are handling the case. Reports conflict whether McCann has been arrested or detained. Some friends claim he's in custody, but official confirmation remains limited due to the international jurisdiction. Autopsy and toxicology results have not been made public. Okay, so here goes some pictures of her here, feeding a giraffe in Africa. Again, just looks picture perfect. You see the roses. She looks cute. I mean, that's a stunning picture. Again, her with the giraffe. Let's see. Hopefully there's no music. Oh, no music on here. But you see her. You see they have all the roses. The happy birthday, Ashley. The man kissing her. It's really pretty how they did that. So, I mean, everything looks really cool. Soft life. No stress. Good times. So, again, a lot of people are just like, okay, something is not right with this entire situation. So let's go to her Instagram page. Because one thing I noticed about her Instagram page, and I also went on her TikTok and things like that. I believe she's either from Philly or New Jersey. I know she's from the East Coast. And so she takes a lot of beautiful pictures. She's a model. She did some video work. She's been in a few music videos. But we all know modeling don't pay. Okay? It's just something that folks say. Video vixens, ain't no money in that. This ain't the early 2000s. So, you know, a lot of girls moved on to Miami, not only for modeling opportunities, but they get caught up in the lifestyle. Okay? The lifestyle of trying to get a baller, trying to get a sugar daddy, get a rich man, live a soft life, because the Miami nightlife is very enticing. And she's a beautiful girl, beautiful face, beautiful body. So she's from New Jersey. Okay. I knew she was from the East Coast because I seen a few videos of her, you know, kind of popping her shit, and I heard her accent and everything. So let's just go ahead and look at her Instagram. One thing I had noticed as I was going through a lot of the comments from weeks ago is that there were several people in her comments telling her to be careful, that she might be unalived, and things like that. So let me go ahead and share this with you guys. Give me just a second here. Okay, so this is her Instagram page. This was November 29th, 2025. And she says, finally got this Cali boy to Philly. They were going to the Eagles game. Okay, and she tends to sit floor seats, super close, good tickets, everything. Chanel bag, very pretty. And so if you notice this comment here from this person, Chess, he says, he's going to harm her. He says he is going to harm you. Get out. This person wrote this 19 weeks ago. Okay? Somebody else says, why is it that black women only seem to have access to old, grain, washed up white men who are not or no longer attractive? I rarely see black women getting the prime 20s to early 30s white men. Okay? And then people are saying this is a Masonic hand gesture. But as you see, you know, this was 19 weeks ago. People were saying stuff. But, you know, for the most part, you have a lot of girls on her page saying y'all look cute together. Oh, my gosh. Get it, queen. Stuff like that. Somebody else says, follow Jesus. He promises to never leave you. They wrote that 18 weeks ago. Okay? So I was getting all these weird comments in her comment section. Here goes a few more. Okay, y'all see this one? 20 weeks ago, somebody named Robbie said, he gonna kill you. Okay? Then somebody else says, they replied back to somebody else. They said, I said the same thing after looking at slide 1 and 3. I pray that she's safe. Another person says she don't realize he's buying her for ownership, not relationship. I got white friends who date black girls, but they don't be looking like that. This was 20 weeks ago is where these comments are coming from. Okay? This is when she was on the plane with him going to Dubai. Here goes another comment. Oh, that's the same one. He's going to harm you. Get out. Okay? So there were all these warnings on her page from what, you know, was mainly black men. And she would kind of go back and forth and, you know, clap back and, you know, say things to them as well. And so another very interesting thing that a lot of black men are mad about is the things that they dug up from her old tweets, okay? And again, y'all know I show everything here. This is not about being biased, just like I did with that, what was that man's name? Talbot Rackins, the one that got killed by his white fiance, Talbot. So a lot of black men have dug into her tweets as well. And so they're feeling away about some of the stuff that they uncovered. So we're going to go ahead and pull some of this stuff up here. Give me just a second. Okay, so one of the blogs is saying, men ignite online backlash after he sees Ashlee Jenae's old comments about black men resurface comparing her to Talbot Rackins. He says, death doesn't automatically earn my respect, especially when you had none your whole life while you were alive. Ashlee Jenae is no different than Talbot Rackins. I don't condone violence that took your life, but I cannot honestly support you. So here she was talking to somebody who left her a comment. This was a week ago. She said, oh, brother, I see the 305 in your bio. Let's talk about all the Miami men, not white, beating their women still. Or is that too touchy? Go live your life while I live mine. So like I said, she would kind of go back and forth with some of these black men in her comments. Here she said, every day black men wake up and find new ways to embarrass us. And then we all remember Talbot, where he said he'd rather fuck a dog. He said, I fuck a black dog. He said, I fuck a dog before I fuck a black bitch. And it got to be a white dog, though. So he was a straight up, clown. And she was found not guilty, too. So she got off with murder. So now let's move on to Twitter, because they also dug through a lot of her old tweets here. And some of these are from years ago. Let's see. Okay, so we saw that one about black men finding new ways to embarrass. This one, she says, I've been saying since third grade my children will be mixed. Laughed my ass off. She posted this in 2013. This one, my baby's going to be mixed when I have a child. LOL. She posted that in 2012. Mixed babies are so cute. 2014. So they're going back, digging, years ago. And so a lot of folks feel away. Okay, this is that 304 tweet. This was the one of them in the plane where on Instagram they were telling her to, leave him. Something about the way he was looking at her right here. And that's why those men were like, he's going to kill you. I don't know. He just looks very demonic. Okay. So that's some of the controversy, okay, that's going on with this situation with her. So let's hit on that first, okay? Let's hit on that. I can't for the life of me understand why when some of us, I don't care if it's men or women, this goes for both, get into interracial relationships, we have to then down our own people. And like I said, granted, her tweets were young, probably when she was in high school. She might have dealt with a lot of colorism and things like that. But for the life of me, we need to stop on both sides. If you are in an interracial relationship, that is fine. There's nothing wrong with dating interracial. But, saying that you'd rather fuck a dog before a black woman is insane. Throwing shade at black men is insane. Because, again, when other races date outside of their race, they don't diss their own. You're not going to find a tweet of a Latino man or Asian man saying he'd rather fuck a dog than an Asian woman or a Latino woman. You're not going to find a tweet where a Latino woman is like, oh, here go Latino men embarrassing us again. So I think that, we need to do better as a people. If you're dating interracially, kudos to you. But understand that just because you date interracially does not mean that you may not run across the same issues that you're running from. And I think that's where some of this whole divesting, it kind of fills young girls' heads up with a lot of bullshit, where they feel like if they just get a white king, all of their problems will be solved. They'll live a soft life. They won't have to want for nothing, and that's just not the reality, okay? But then I also hate the conversation I'm seeing online where it's, well, that's what she gets for dating outside her race. That's what white men do. White men always kill black women. Objection. We're not going to do that, okay? Just because a black woman chooses to date interracially does not mean that she's going to be beat up on, murdered, and anything else, because let's keep it real. Most of the femicide that black women face come from what? Black men, okay? So while everybody's saying that, she got killed solely because he was a white man, let's not forget there's a rapper in Philly, a pregnant rapper that was just killed by her black rapper boyfriend. Let's play this clip. This just happened 2 days ago. So let's not just say because she's dating a white man, that's why she ended up dead. Black women deal with femicide no matter who they date. or they can deal with it. I don't want to say they just deal with it across the board, but can be killed no matter who they date. This is not necessarily because she was dating a white man, because there's people I know who are in interracial relationships and they're extremely healthy. They love each other. They're not fetishizing each other. They're not using each other. They are in genuine relationships. So I don't like this narrative that's being spun, because when a black man kills a black woman, I'm not seeing a lot of these black men coming out and condemning it. It's, well, she had an attitude, or what did she do? But now when it's the white man that done killed a black woman, there's all these think pieces. Okay, so if we're going to have real conversations, let's have real conversations. So let's go ahead. Let me show y'all the video of the rapper, the black lady, female rapper, I believe from Philly, who was recently killed. And she's pregnant.
A rapper's family speaking out after she was found shot to death in Atlanta. Why they say she was targeted. Hey, thank you so much for joining us here on 11 Alive and streaming on 11 Alive Plus. I'm Faith Jesse.
And I'm Cheryl Preheim. We begin with a story you'll only see here on 11 Alive News. A rapper's family identifies her as the woman shot to death in southeast Atlanta.
That's right. 11 Alive's Chase Howell spoke to the family, who believes she may have been targeted because she was pregnant.
According to the family of Qualisha Barnes, she was 14 weeks pregnant when she was shot 4 times in the face.
Probably because I know I'm worth a milli.
You may know her by her stage name, Diddy.
The only Diddy in my city with a lit wrist.
But those closest to her know her as a daughter and a sister.
I know her as Qualisha. I know her as Lily. I know her as we in the same house, in the same bed. That's what I know her as. All that friend stuff, I don't care about none of that. That was my sister. That was my baby.
Give us the strength that we need to survive.
Hand in hand in prayer, the family of Qualisha Barnes asked God for strength while coming to terms with her senseless killing. And it's moments like this that are helping them deal with her death.
Generally, if you met Lily, you instantly loved her. And she was such a jokester, she liked to laugh and she always cracking jokes on me.
Barnes's mom, Francine Lopez Stewart, says her rap name fits her perfectly.
She loved makeup, she loved dressing up, she loved beauty. So, and she was a Diddy.
But Barnes wasn't just a rapper. She was also an aspiring nurse.
She made the dean's list. She had like 2 more semesters to go. She was so proud of herself, and we were so proud of her.
As for what justice looks like, Lopez Stewart says seeing not just one person held responsible, but multiple, because she believes her daughter was set up.
If you instigate something that causes a murder, then you need some kind, you need something. I think you need to go to jail too.
According to Barnes's family, she had been living in the metro Atlanta area for about 10 years. As far as the investigation into who may have killed her, well, Atlanta police says that's still under investigation. In Atlanta.
What the streets are saying happened to this young lady, they're saying that she was pregnant by her rapper boyfriend and he didn't want a child with her. He wanted her to get an abortion. She refused and she ended up getting set up and killed. Okay, so I play that to show you guys this is not necessarily, a black versus white issue. Black women are dealing with femicide at a very, very high rate, okay, regardless of the race of the man. So this whole situation, back to Ashlee Jenae, is extremely disturbing because, again, she was a soft life divester. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of look at her page because this is a lot of stuff that she promoted. A lot of girls really looked up to her and, they felt like she made it. She's been in Miami for a few years and she finally hit the jackpot. She got a crypto trader, and we're going to get more into Joe in just a second. So this is her IG page here. Let's see, this is from her birth. This was the video here that went viral. Play the music. Said still taking this in somewhere in Africa. And this is where he proposed to her. You know, people were on here a week ago saying, oh my God, congratulations. Very happy for her. You know, again, everything is for social media. Who's filming this? You know, it's just, again, it's all content. So this is them at the basketball game. She says, hard floor, soft life. Okay. Somebody a week ago says, anything for money. Our people were forced to do all kinds of stuff for decades. And you go let one pay you down for the night. Terrible. So, see, they got floor seats. Very pretty girl. Got on her Chanel outfit. Okay. So she looks like she's just living her best life. Like, seriously. Here she is, I think, in, I don't know, Aspen, Colorado or something. Titled it Cabin Fever. So they're going skiing. So he's taking on all types of just, you know, luxurious vacations. You know, very soft life and, you know, just all of this stuff. It looks like she just has, I think they're in Oregon here. See, he's driving a Lamborghini. And then this person here wrote this 7 weeks ago. It be all beautiful until. And here was them. Came for the beads, stayed for the feels. That was them in Louisiana. Mardi Gras. Let's see, here goes some more pictures of her and her man. Oh no, he just be looking weird. His eyes. Somebody's eyes. I like this picture of her. Poolside, fool side. Okay. So like I said, she's living her best life via social media. Like every other week, they're in some tropical place or, you know, some high-end vacation. Here they're in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. Okay. Oh, some more pictures here. Las Vegas, Nevada. So again, this was just 15 weeks ago. The other trip was 13. The other trip was 12. So like literally every week, they're in another city. Okay. And look at one of her followers says, thank you, sir, for making this woman happy. Beautiful couple. May this kind of love find me. Okay. So a lot of girls were looking up to her. They also want to live this soft life and get them, you know, soft man. Or I don't know. Hard money, soft man. I don't know. Then she wrote here, well kept. Okay. Somebody said, found a sugar daddy simp. So. Somebody else says, do your research on Halle Berry. Don't be next, queen. Jesus loves you. So the comments are very strange, all this stuff all these little warnings that people were saying to her. Somebody else says, one of the sugar daddies. Read the energy, not the caption. Okay. So these were just, you know, some of their pictures. Let me see. This one here. They look, you know, very stunning together. Like I said, you know, you can look at her page. Here she is hopping in a private jet, catching flights and feelings. Okay. Here she is in Paris. So you can kind of tell the lifestyle that she led in Miami, you know, even before she met the white man. She's living that, to me, I get like high-end escorty vibes. You know what I'm saying? Sugar daddy, sugar baby vibes. Because that's the lifestyle in Miami. I mean, it is what it is. But the thing, though, that is very, very disturbing about this situation, like I always tell you guys, everything that glitters is not gold, okay? So a lot of people thought that she hit the jackpot. This man is rich. He's funding her lifestyle. You know, it's her sugar daddy, now fiance. But like they were saying in that article, when the girl passed, the so-called fiance didn't even call the parents. Didn't say, you know, there's something wrong with my fiance. I came back. They found out because the Tanzanian embassy found her passport and contacted her relatives. So how are you, the fiance, proposing to her, and then you don't even call her family, let them know what's going on? And so I go onto his Instagram because I'm thinking, okay, well, he has to at least have posted something about his fiance. You know, I'm depressed, I'm sad, the love of my life is gone. No. Oh, another thing too I want to show y'all. This was another video that she posted on her Instagram page, why I say that I feel like she was living that escort type life, okay? Because this is something that she posted. So in this video, she says, me and my bestie sharing locations for safety like she can save me 8,000 miles away. So bestie's in Montego Bay. She's in Dubai. Okay? And that's what, unfortunately, that's what a lot of these young women get caught up in. You know, when you're not involved in that type of lifestyle, you're not sharing locations from miles away and fingers crossed and hoping nothing happens to you all. You know, but again, the whole thing is just sad. So I go to his page, and on his Instagram, he has nothing posted at all. Let me show y'all his Instagram. So there's nothing posted on his Instagram whatsoever. Okay. But he has over 2,000 followers. So I don't know if he deleted some posts, but there's not, the way she's showing him off on her Instagram, he's not doing the same. So then I go to his Twitter page, and so now around the time that we're finding out that she's passed away, he's busy retweeting people about the crypto. Okay, he wrote, somebody tweeted him and said, hey, dude, thank you for your inspiration regarding Claude. I've been reorganizing the back end of my Thailand business, and it's completely AI. He writes, another AI success story from a normie. Okay, this person is talking about some more AI crypto stuff. He writes, bingo. So he's been busy retweeting. Here he wrote, you know, he has a bunch of head exploding emojis. But there's nothing in here about this fiance. Nothing in here about Ashley whatsoever. It's almost like Ashley didn't even exist. He's posting, but nothing about her at all. So I thought that was very strange. So I started digging into him further because y'all know how I feel about crypto bros. I can't stand them. I think they're all scam artists. I watch how they scammed their ass off all through COVID, okay? So I found some videos of him talking about his crypto business, asymmetric and things like that. So we're going to watch some of those videos. Because he does a lot of podcast conversations on TikTok and on Instagram and stuff like that, talking about crypto.
That is now what I see happening with crypto. It's an alternative financial system. The fiat kind of SWIFT banking, traditional way of doing money management and access to financial services, that system is likely going to exist for a very long time. But now there's an alternative system that people can opt into. They can still actually operate in the old system too, but they can operate in this new system. And so, as you get back to the point of like, Aave, or pick a lending protocol, or pick a DeFi protocol. I'm not picking on Aave specifically. The point is, it's not what the protocol is and, well, how do we get new users? And they should just know that this is better and this and that. It's like, we're building an alternative financial system. And so how do you get people to opt into that in a meaningful way? Well, in most cases, and when I worked at this design agency years ago called Frog Design, one of the things that I learned from a lot of the user experience researchers there was, in order for people to make a fundamental change in how they do anything, it needs to be a 10x improvement. There is not a 10x improvement currently for most people in the developed world to adopt DeFi protocols. It just doesn't exist. However, if you go to developing countries or countries that have, history of the countries defaulting on their debt or, seizing of their assets or whatever that may actually be, those folks are adopting this stuff because they need to opt out of the system because they don't want to, kind of remain in this ridiculous inequality gap that continues to kind of build itself out, irrespective of what happens with, sort of the developed nations themselves.
Why should anyone listen to you?
So, that is now.
Basically, he's a mush mouth. Okay. Let me go ahead and let in the users. It's been 30 minutes here. Let me go ahead and let everybody in. And this time we'll just let everybody in. Come on in, y'all. Okay. So here comes the floodgates. And before I keep going, I want to go ahead and shout out Moneybag Mo. Moneybag Mo's in the building. So thank you, sis, for the $499.99. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you for tuning into my last live for a while. So thank you. So this situation is getting nuts here with everything this man is saying, okay? So I started doing research on him because I'm like, I can see how a young girl would be enamored by what he's saying, the crypto bro lifestyle. But as we all know, a lot of these crypto bros aren't shit. They start these crypto companies, they get people to invest their money, and it's just a big pyramid scheme, and then they dip off and people are left holding the bag, okay? So when I started researching him, I was finding out that everything that glitters is not gold, okay? So there were several people tweeting about him and some of his shady dealings. So somebody had written down 24 plus years across Wall Street, Silicon Valley, the founder of Node Source turned Solana maximalist in 2021, built asymmetric financial and liquid alpha fund collapse, negative 78% YTD in 2025, over 100 million in estimated losses, blame low volatility, market conditions, pivoted to a 1.5 Solana treasury company, later canceled, sold his AI software, asymmetric information to MG Stover, fiance Ashlee Jenae found dead in Tanzania. Okay? So a lot of people are saying that he went from crypto to pivoting to an AI scam. Okay? And that's some of the stuff that people were like giving him props about when he was like, oh, the normies are thanking me for helping them out. So I got the digging. This man is not rich by any means. He has once again, a good facade, but behind the curtains, there's nothing there. He's another Rose Decatur from Titanic, how they just had, the good name and bad debts, okay? Oh my God, y'all are going in. Miss Shanette sent me $500. Thank you so much, Shanette. Thank you, sis. I appreciate you. Shout out to her, Moneybag Mo. I really, really appreciate the both of you guys. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. Oh my gosh, y'all are just wonderful. Thank you. So let me go ahead and show you guys this really quick here from what I found. And so it says here, Joe McCann closes asymmetrical liquid fund after shifting away from liquid trading. Okay, so he's winding down the asymmetrical liquid alpha fund after the fund was accused of losing massive value this year and drew sharp criticism online. Okay? He said, clearly, he said that the strategy behind the Liquid Alpha Fund clearly is no longer serving our LPs. He said that the fund has been built for a volatile market and had once delivered results, but added that asymmetric would now be shifting away from liquid trading strategies and towards a long-term investments in the blockchain infrastructure. Okay, so he lost over 78% this year alone. This is from July 2025. Okay, here goes another article. Joe McCann shut down fund after 78% loss while pursuing a $1 billion Solana raise. Okay, and this was his tweet from 2025 about it being, you know, high volatility and things like that. Another article, the failure of Asymmetric's Liquid Alpha Fund underscores risk of volatility-driven trading in a stable market. Okay? So a lot of people who had invested their money into his crypto were left holding the bag. And now this is where my mind goes with this whole situation, okay? This man is not living the life that he was portraying. He was portraying this high roller life through her Instagram. Because he's on her Instagram, she's able to show off all these locations and vacations, and it makes him look good. It makes him look good to his investors, to people who have believed in his, you know, platform, that, you know, that he still has it like that. But I believe what was going on is that he was robbing Peter to pay Paul. And he was taking these luxurious vacations with that crypto money that he done ran off with, okay? So now, go ahead and pull this up. This is what's being reported as of an hour ago by TMZ, okay? So TMZ is saying this: the influencer Ashlee Jenae had a blowout with fiance before death, cop says. Ashlee Jenae was involved in a dispute with her fiance Joe McCann before her tragic death in Tanzania earlier this month, something local police say is now part of an active investigation. According to North Unganja Regional Police Commander Benedict Mampraja, the couple had a falling out at the luxury resort in Zuru, Zanzibar, with the hotel staff stepping in and separating them into two different rooms. Imagine how bad this fight had to be in public that the hotel staff had to not only step in, but had to separate them by putting them in two different rooms, okay? They're saying that the situation escalated enough for the staff to alert authorities, with concerns raised about Ashley's well-being, prompting a report to the Mgua police station. Her family said Ashley, whose real name is Ashley Robinson, was found unconscious in her villa and she was rushed to a hospital. Police say she died the following day, Friday the 10th. A local news report indicates. Police believe that she died by suicide. Okay? I believe that he may have paid off the Tanzanian police to say that, because it does not make any sense. I don't see a beautiful woman like this. She's young, she's gorgeous, face, body, all that, right? And she's living a high roller lifestyle. There's not a lot for her to be depressed about, where she would just off herself like that. I feel like he had something to do with her death. And the fact that he hasn't even mentioned his fiance at all is insane. I definitely feel like he had something to do with it. Now, on top of all of this that's going on, one of the things that can set men off like that, because let's keep it real, this dude is a simp, okay? And most of these guys who trick off and who don't really want to build real relationships, they rather just spend money and you know, buy a partner. I think the whole proposal now that she's dead was just a facade. We don't know if he might have had life insurance on her. And so now he's trying to say that the cause of death was suicide. you know, the fact that his business was failing, he was losing money. It might got to the point where they got into it because she's thinking, hey, I'm on this vacation, I'm supposed to be kept, and possibly the money's not moneying. He can't do certain things. He can't spend in the way that he may have been spending a few months ago. And they probably been having conflict for a while. And it might be a situation where she's like, you know what? Your money's not moneying. I'm about to move on to the next guy. And he may have felt the way. Because now he's coming to the realization that she wasn't really with him, but for what he had. So something caused him to snap. Something caused them to basically go off on each other in that hotel room, in the hallway, to the point where they had to be separated. But I don't believe for an instant that, you know, she just happened to harm herself. I don't believe that at all. Especially with the way he's moving. Like it's just, you know, it's just whatever. So this is like a real cautionary tale, like I like to say, to like a lot of young women. Because so many times you got to realize that everything that you see on social media is just that, social media. There is social media relationships and things for the gram, and then there's reality. She might have taken the most beautifulest picture. Her outfits were on point, her hair, her makeup, but you don't know what she was going through behind the scenes with that man. I don't believe that this was their first argument, that they just happened to get into and he killed her. I think this had been escalating for a while. And he snapped. And this is why, you know, as young women, you have to really think about this whole mentality of chasing the bag and this whole chasing the soft life and divestment. You have to understand that there can be consequences for that. Is that every situation? Of course not. Some people are able to get with the right person. It's a genuine relationship. You know, that man is able to retire that woman or young girl, and, you know, she can live her soft life. But a lot of times that's really not how it works. And people who are looking to build meaningful relationships, especially when men have money and power, you know, a lot of times they also want you to have something going for yourself as well. There's a difference between having a partner who, you know, if things get bad, if my health declines, if I go through it, she can also help us. You know, I'm going to be the one covering the bills and making sure things are good. But I also don't want to bump on the log either, where the only thing she can do is just get her nail and her hair done. That's how most men who have money, who want to build real relationships, think. But men who have money, who is just like a fly-by-night thing and they're not looking to settle down, then they're cool with just, you know, spending and tricking off as they want to. But you also have to be careful with that. You know, you also have to know somebody's real intentions. And I think that's where a lot of these young girls get caught up, is that, you know, they're looking at the money, they're looking at the lifestyle, but they're not really getting to know that person. Because as I dug further into this man, did y'all know that he was MAGA? I told you I spent hours going through everything. Let me show y'all this. I don't know if she even knew this. Okay? And the reason I bring that up, you know, not because of who he voted for, but I bring that up for a specific reason. Let me show y'all this. I know we keep receipts. Do y'all see that? This is him, Joe McCann. Trump derangement syndrome. And he posted this November 14th of 2024. So this wasn't, you know, years ago. Okay? And the reason why I say that, and I bring up the fact that he was MAGA, and I don't know if she knew that. She might have not cared. But a lot of men who follow the whole MAGA ideology, a lot of them tend to be red pillars. Okay? They tend to have that red pill mentality. And with that red pill mentality, you're not going to talk to me crazy because I'm the man in the relationship. Okay? You're just a woman. I tell you how to think. I tell you what to do. We can look at no further than Andrew Tate. Okay? He gives me red pill vibes. He doesn't really seem like he's that into her. He's just there for the pictures. He doesn't post her. He doesn't show her any type of public affection as far as on his social media pages. She's probably just one of many. And this is why I say you need to, y'all need to stop just trying to chase bags and diversion and really get to know a person. Because at the end of the day, a lot of these guys from these red pill spaces, they look at women as objects and treat them as objects. They look at them as just simply gold diggers to be used, smashed, tossed, and move on to the next, especially in that Miami lifestyle. So yeah, I told you I was doing some digging. I said, okay, so he's definitely MAGA, which to me would look very, he would fall into the red pill category. So I think what might have happened because, she's still very New Jersey. Y'all can look at her pictures, but when I hear how she talks very hood. You know what I'm saying? She has, the black girl swag and sass, like we all do, okay? Let me put one of her videos. I think this is when she was talking about traffic. Because she's deleted a lot of her talking videos, but these are just some of her videos. So I'm kind of matching the personalities. This is what I'm doing while I'm showing this. Because I'm matching the personality, okay? So there goes like one of her videos of her just talking.
If everybody was just like not taught the unspoken rule, or if y'all just stop giving a fuck, I don't know which one it is. I can't fault y'all for not knowing. But it's been happening so often lately that I feel like I have to say something. I have to. Because enough is enough. Walking is like driving a car. It means you stay to the right at all times. You stay to the right. Only time you go to the left is if you got to speed past somebody on the right. That means if you're walking in the mall, all the stores is on the right-hand side. Boom, store, store, store. Only time you cross over to the left is if the store is on the other side. If you are going up the stairs, you stay to the right. The person coming down is going to be on your left and they're right. Still staying to the right. What's not clicking? Make it make sense. You are fucking up feet traffic. Fucking it up. Now, I'm not sure if...
Okay, so I play that video for a reason, okay? Because I think a lot of people have just simply looked at her pictures and they just see a beautiful girl, right? Because she's drop dead gorgeous. They just see this beautiful girl, beautiful body, and they automatically assume that, she's more whitewashed, right? What they call it, white dipped in chocolate. That's how people would assume just looking at her pictures. But hearing her voice, oh, she definitely is a round the way girl. She's definitely giving round the way girl energy, right? So I think what may have happened is that, he's talking to her crazy on his red pill shit. I'm a man, da-da-da-da, you gotta da-da-da-da-da, right? She's from Jersey. So she's popping right back with this white man like, you got me fucked up, da-da-da, you know what I mean? She's not one of them that acts, Lily White and, I'm, like, hey, you guys. She's not that type of influencer. I think people may have thought that simply from her picture. Yeah, an Oreo. She's not an Oreo. I couldn't think of the name. Yes, an Oreo. She's not that. So I think just from her demeanor, how she talks, the way, she has that spice to her. Him being a red pillar MAGA, he couldn't handle that. And that right there is enough to clash. A bruising of the ego. Because she look like she really don't take no shit. She handles her business, but she's from, Philly. Y'all get what I'm saying? Newark. I think they said she lived in both places. She lived in New Jersey and she lived in Philly because she had that in her bio. She has Miami, Philly, and New Jersey. So I think to me, that's what happened. Okay, y'all get where I'm coming from? Again, it's not to like knock how she speaks because me and her basically talk the same way, right? But what I'm saying is I think a lot of people looked at her picture and thought she was an Oreo. Okay? And maybe he thought that at first. Maybe that's how she kind of played it at first, right? To lure him in. And then when they got to arguing, it's like that whole, you know what I'm saying, Newark, New Jersey popped out, and his, you know, MAGA side popped out, and it was a recipe for disaster, unfortunately. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Like, we got to stop this whole chasing a bag mentality, and, you know, just because somebody's white, they're all right. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You know, we got to stop, you know, selling ourselves short just for vacations and red bottoms and purses and to be flued out. We only have one life to live. And again, like I said earlier, this is not about it being an interracial relationship, because the only time you have a group of black men come out to condemn when a black woman is dead, it's if it's at the hands of a white man. But when it's a black man who has killed a black woman, it's crickets. Like I said, black female femicide happens more with black men relationships than the other way around. But we're still going to address both. You know, so this is why, you know, a lot of these young girls, I just want for you guys to like just really be careful out here, just blindly following these, you know, influencers and just these different groups and thinking that your whole life, every problem in your life will be solved if you just find a rich man or a rich white man or a rich black man. There's a lot of things that come with that, especially when you need him and they don't need you and you can be replaced. There's a lot that come with that. And you got to understand, just because you're seeing beautiful pictures and curated feeds, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. For all we know, before he killed her, he could have been putting hands on this girl. But because the trips and the Chanel bags were worth it, she let it go. She let it slide. Because I refuse to believe that this was their first argument and ended up in murder. I refuse to believe that. Well, allegedly. He's saying that she killed herself. I don't believe that at all. That girl had too much going on for herself. Beautiful girl. She was doing all types of music videos. You know, she had her whole life ahead of her. Who goes to Africa, who goes on a beautiful safari, celebrates their 31 years on Earth, shows the world that she's now engaged, and then you go in your room and take your life? That doesn't even make any sense. So I really want y'all to be careful. And this is why I do these stories. This is why I choose to break it down fully. It's easier to just spin a narrative and just say, you know, we just see a beautiful black woman that was killed, RIP. Nah, we got to really get to the nitty gritty, because this is happening far too much. Let's not forget, a few months ago, I talked about the young girl, and I can't think of her name. Y'all can put in the chat, who left in the middle of the night. She told her dad she was going somewhere. She left around like, you know, midnight to go meet up with the illegal Mexican, you know, and ends up dead. Y'all can say what y'all want to, but I know a trick when I see one. She was going to go, you know, turn a trick real quick. Because like I said in my last stream, we have normalized prostitution. We've normalized just selling ourselves as long as the ends justify the means. And so now these young girls are not even thinking about the danger. They're just thinking, okay, let me go ahead, you know, suck them off real quick, get $300, go shopping, go get my nails and my hair done. To them, it's just a transaction. Y'all remember that story? I can't think of her name. Dakara Thompson. Thank you, sis. Diane Ross wrote it. Dakara Thompson. Beautiful girl. There's no reason for her to leave her father's home in the middle of the night to go meet up with a random Latino man who ended up being an illegal immigrant who killed her. Just like the other black girl, you know, I forget, it's been so many stories, who met the guy off, I think, Bumble or something like that, took him back home, you know, and then he killed her. It's happening more and more. And I need y'all to be aware of this and to be careful and understand that whole chasing the bag mentality, you know, you might luck up 2, 3, 4 times, but it might be the 5th time that's your last. You know how many girls end up going missing or getting trafficked that we never hear about because they didn't have a big enough influence or a social media page with curated pictures? It's happening far too much. Yes, Lauren Smith Fields, thank you. Yeah, it's happening far too much. So I hate this for this young girl, because when I seen her on my feed, I'm like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. And then, I'm seeing her with the white man and he's engaged, he's proposing to her, and I'm seeing a lion. I'm a Leo, so I'm tuned in like, okay, that's what's up, congratulations to them. I didn't think nothing of it. And then, come to find out they're talking about, she's dead. So it's very scary. And it's happening all over the country. This is not just a Miami thing. You have so many young girls who are looking at these other young girls on social media, and they feel like, well, why should I work at Starbucks or go to school when I can just, live the soft life? Well, living the soft life comes with something. Nobody's just going to pay you to just be there. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to sleep with these men for money. So you really got to just understand the nuances to all this stuff. And I just hate that for her. Now, her family has released a statement. So let me read that to y'all real quick. See where that statement is at. Okay. So here's the official statement from the family. Okay. So they say Ashley Robinson was on what should have been one of the happiest trips of her life. Birthday celebration in Zanzibar, Africa. Ashley's birthday was April 5th. She just turned 31, surrounded by beauty, love, wildlife. She became engaged during a safari, an unforgettable moment that marked the start of the future she was so excited to build. She and her fiance, Joe McCann, were staying at a luxury villa at the Zuri, Zanzibar, continuing what we believe was her dream trip. But just days later, the dream turned into our family's worst nightmare. Ashley was found unconscious in her villa and was rushed to a local hospital, where her death was confirmed hours later. Nothing about this loss feels real. One moment she's celebrating love and life in a truly Ashley fashion. The next she's gone. The suddenness, the unanswered questions, and the distance from home have made the tragedy even more overwhelming for our family. At this time, there's an active investigation into the circumstances surrounding Ashley's suspicious passing. Although we have many questions, we are placing the trust in the officials of Zanzibar and are working closely with them as we seek clarity and answers. Ashley was deeply loved. She was vibrant, full of life, and had so much ahead of her. Our family is completely devastated, and we appreciate the prayers, compassion, the prayers and compassion we have received as we navigate this unimaginable loss. Respectfully ask that any information not directly provided by our family be treated as unverified and not considered factual at this time. The Robinson Andreas family. So that is just heartbreaking that, she went on this beautiful vacation only to come back home in a body bag, so it's really, really sad, the things that are going on. But like I said, these are real conversations that we need to have. Because at this time, I don't care if you are dating a white man, a black man, an Asian man, you know what I'm saying? You just have to be careful. You need to go into these relationships, on a genuine level. Exactly with the way things are going right now, times are hard. That man's business was crashing. You just don't know what these men are going through mentally. And the easiest person it is to take it out on is a significant other. So be very careful, ladies. Well, let's not compare this to Shanquilla. Shanquilla was beat up by her jealous ass friends. Shanquilla wasn't out there with no, man or in a relationship situation. Like, those are two totally different situations. Shanquilla was, with her friends, and they put hands on her off of some jealousy. But what is bothersome is that nothing has happened to those people. Because a lot of times when crime happens overseas, they don't take it as seriously. They don't really have, they don't have the resources. And some of these countries, they really just don't care. They don't even care about when things happen to girls in their own country. Like, can we be real for a second? You have girls who get hurt and killed and maimed every day in a lot of these countries, and no justice for them. So we can't, you can't really expect justice for an American overseas. Sometimes it happens, but a lot of times it doesn't happen. So even though they're working with the Tanzania, police, hopefully they'll be able to do something. But if that man has paid them off and he has some type of money, they're going to go where the money resides, unfortunately. That's how it is in a lot of these countries. So that's why I always say when you're overseas, you have to be extremely careful. You're not working with the same laws. You don't have the same benefits as you have here in America. Like I said, even to this day, Shanquilla's case has not been solved. They haven't arrested not one of her friends. And there's nothing American can do because she didn't die on American soil. She died in Mexico. So yeah, it's very sad. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats here. Blackfoot Baddie sent $6.99, says, "Hey T, it was my birthday on April. Just turned 41. I'm an Aries and I just wanted to show you some love." Well, happy birthday to you. Thank you so much for coming through, sis, and thank you for the super chat. Shout out to all the Aries this season. It's Shaw's month, so definitely enjoy. Let's see here. A Red sent $5, says, "Hey T, it's one woman OP. Operation since I do everything on my own. Glad you're doing well. Love you." Love you too, sis. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see here. My page just refreshed. Oh. Hold on. Let's see here. Let me scroll back up. Okay, Deluxe Coco sent $9.99, says, "Love you, T. We will miss you, but sending you love and wishing you a speedy recovery." Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, sis. Thank you. Let's see here. January Cap sent $9.99, says, "Love you, T. Wishing you a speedy recovery." Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Princess Strudel sent $4.99, says, "Hey, T. First super chat. Been watching you since high school. You would definitely be missed. Wishing you a smooth recovery." Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Shelly J sent $9.99, says, "You would definitely be missed, but your health is way more important. We'll obviously be here when you get back. Love you. Wishing you a quick and healthy recovery." Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Cook the indigo? I don't know if I said that right. They sent $20, says, "T, we most definitely gonna miss you, girl, and we'll be patiently waiting your return. Wishing you a speedy, full recovery." Thank you, sis. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Cindy Yo sent $5. She says, "Remember Christian Obumseli and his abusive OF girlfriend?" Oh, yeah. I remember doing a video about them. And he was another one, like I said, went in, talked bad about black women, and he was young. And I drug him the same way. So it's just like, again, like I said earlier, we have to stop this. Just because you're in an interracial relationship, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, stop disrespecting your own race. You can be in an interracial relationship and still have racial pride, so, and with her, that whole situation was just insane. Just insane. But again, they both wanted to live that Miami high life and, show off all their money and Fendi and stuff like that. But look what was going on behind the scenes. She was putting hands on him. He was putting hands on her. And then it got to the point where she killed him. So it's a mess. It really is. Let's see here. Luther's boy sent $49.99. He says, "Hey, T, Mike and Adam here just showing you love. We celebrated our 3-year anniversary last Wednesday. Headed to Costa Rica to celebrate Adam's 38th, planning on an Alaskan cruise for next June. Get ready for the details. Love you, praying for you." I love you guys too. Once again, happy early birthday, Adam. I hope you guys have an amazing time in Costa Rica. I know you guys will. And congratulations on your 3-year anniversary. I'm saying I'm so happy, everything, y'all's relationship. I love it. And God willing, I will be on that Alaska cruise next year. So thank you so much. That'd be fun because I always wanted to go to Alaska. We've been talking about that for years. So, yeah, definitely for next June. So, we'll talk soon. Let's see here. Yardley HBK sent $10. Says when bed winching goes wrong, pink pilled. Okay. Not with the emojis. I'm like trying to figure out what you're trying to say, but okay. You know, and again, was she bed winching? I don't know. You know, it looked like it was an interracial relationship, just like, you know, with the Ombuseli, you know, but again, I just don't believe that anybody who's in an interracial relationship should be disrespecting their own race. That goes for Ashley. That goes for, you know, the Toby Raskin guy, all of them. Because it just looks bad. And especially when something happens, people pull up all these old tweets and everything else. So, you know, just enjoy your relationship, but there's no need to bring down your own race. So thank you for the super chat. Let's see here. Your mama's papas. Hey, my Cali people. They sent $100. Says, I had to give my favorite creator some love. Sorry I haven't been able to do it as often as before. You will be missed, LovelyTi. You always made my work days better. Love from the West Side. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And thank you just for always supporting my channel. That means a lot to me. So thank you. Spiralin sent $4.99 says, T, you might have to do a deep dive because they don't want to listen. Do you remember the Ray Caruth case from 1990s? Black women are not protected. Oh, yeah. I've talked about Ray Caruth. He's free. I've done videos on him because I had to drag him a few years ago because he tried to get custody of the baby that he almost killed. I said, the audacity. You killed Sharika Adams because she was pregnant with your baby. You didn't want to pay child support. Now you want to try and fight the grandmother who's been raising this baby with cerebral palsy because of your actions. Yeah, I drug his ass a few years ago. So, yeah, you know, it's unfortunate. You know, at the end of the day, if you don't want a baby, use a condom, use birth control. But once that baby's in that woman, it's for her to decide if she's going to go through with that pregnancy or not. Is it fair? Maybe not, but that's just what it is. So the rapper who killed that other the rap female, Sadiddy, I mean, that's just insane. 14 weeks pregnant, you shoot her in the face 4 times? That's just, it's evil. That's what I'm saying. Like, women have to be careful out here. You just have to be. Don't think just because you're talking to somebody who got money that they got a bunch of common sense. At the end of the day, these are men, broke or rich. Once their ego is bruised, watch out. You know? Have to be careful. Oh, you talking about Sunlight? You talking about that ISIS girl? Now, I don't know what, I remember I did the video on her. I don't know whatever happened. If the man got charged because she said he was, you know, he had molested the daughter. I don't know whatever happened to the ISIS lady or the husband. But again, she was another one chasing the soft life, you know, running after a man with money, but then you put your child at risk, you know, so just be careful. Mandarins, hey sis, she sent $5, says these lifestyles are glamorized to young women, but people aren't thinking about what really happens behind the scenes to obtain the lifestyle. Exactly. You know, and that's the thing that you just have to be careful. You know, all these Dubai trips, it looks glamorous, but a lot of them girls going to Dubai are doing some of the most just disgusting, demonic stuff. I mean, I did my Dubai deep dive. I did that deep dive about 3 years ago. You know, and I not only went into the influencers and the sexual stuff that goes on, but the slavery that goes on in Dubai. You know how they'll entice women to be nannies and stuff like that. Then they get there, they take their passports, and now they're stuck in slavery. You know, the men that they'll hire to come and help build up these beautiful, massive buildings, they take their passports. Now they're living in like a shanty town with 100 different men, and they can't leave Dubai. That the whole Dubai was built on modern day slavery, you know? So, but like I said, they only got about 10 years left, if that. Because if this war gets crazy, I don't see Dubai lasting even 10 years. Because their water, their desalination, they're running out of water. So, That I should do a Dubai part 2 about the water issues going on in Dubai. Even before this whole situation with the war with Iran, Dubai is very much struggling. So let's see here. Tamara Witherspoon sent 5, says, T, you will be missed. Take care. Sending prayers and love your way. I'm in the Discord. Hopefully you will keep us updated along the way. I definitely will, and thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you. Let's see here. Ashley Irvin says, just want to say thank you for being you. I'm going to miss you while you're gone. I always wait to hear your opinions on what's going on. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. JMK823 says, I was beaten by my ex, a white male. Some insecure males of other ethnicities target women who they know they can mistreat and no one will care. Talk about it. That's the truth. And that's where, you know, you do have to be careful when you date interracially, you know? And that's one of the things that's always kind of made me nervous too when I've dealt with people of other races. Like, is this real? I'm not trying to be nobody's fetish. And what I noticed too, a lot of them don't like it if you're like, if you have yourself together. I'm not going to say a lot of them, some of them. If you have yourself together and you don't need them. The ones who are predator mentalities, they like especially women of color who need them. They want to feel like they're providing. You know what I'm saying? And if you are a woman of means and you have yourself together, it can bother some of them because they want you to be helpless and depend on them. I'm not that girl. I'm not about to depend on nobody, you know? So, yeah, you got to watch out for that. Like, sometimes they will target, you know, Black women. And unfortunately, because of these spaces where they've made white men like the be-all, end-all, you know, the white king, the white savior, a lot of them, they know that because they're in the same spaces. So they're able to spot out the Black girls with low self-esteem who just, you know, it could be trailer trash John. As long as he's white, it doesn't matter. You know, so you got to watch out for that as well because you do have some people, you know, a person who has a predator mentality, regardless of race, will have that mentality. They'll always look for the weakest. And unfortunately, because a lot of Black women are not protected, you know, they'll tend to go for us first. So I'm sorry that you went through that, but thank you so much for sharing your story because that happens more than people want to talk about. So, yeah, just be careful. Ken Davis 53 sent $10, says, hey T, just want to show some support. Please take care of yourself while you recover. You will be missed. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Kira Ross sent $9.99, says, longtime T sipper, quiet Discord member. Thanks for everything that you do, T. Built my garden because of you. That is awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. So you are more than welcome. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see here. Libra Scorpio sent $200. Thank you so much, Libra Scorpio. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the big super chat. It's very much appreciated. So thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all, man. Y'all be going so hard, and I really, really appreciate it. I don't want to leave here crying tonight because I've cried enough this weekend because this weekend was like my last weekend out. So I don't want to cry. But thank y'all. I really appreciate y'all. So let me read this last super chat. I'm going to get on to the next story here. So LovelyTi is checking in. He sent $19.99. He says, hey, auntie, it's your favorite soldier checking in. I had a nice time at the military ball with my battles. Our country needs prayer. Trump being blasphemous, disrespecting the Pope, and has now imposed a blockade on the Iran. Lord help. Yeah, it's been a mess. You know, I've been keeping up with everything. If he's just the definition at this point of the Antichrist, I don't care what anybody says. And then he tries to come back and say, oh, I wasn't making myself out to be Jesus. I was making myself out to be a doctor. Like just the mental gymnastics that this man plays. But he's lost his main MAGA supporters. A lot of regular MAGA people are just, they're tapped out. They're tired. But I feel bad because it is the regular man and women like you and so many others who are in the military that are going to be on the front lines and, you know, having to deal with the chaos that he has created. It does not make any sense. And the thing is, he wants to block the Strait of Hormuz that's already blocked because everybody else can go through it. Okay, so China, Russia, anybody who's not tied to the U.S. can go through the strait. You got to pay. Okay, I think Russia and China, they probably get it for like a fraction of the price. But like France, Europe, they got to pay. They got to drop some coins. But America and Israel are not allowed to use the strait. So his whole thing is he wants to block it. That doesn't make any sense because with you blocking it, now the whole world is going to be mad at us. Now you're going to give China and Russia an excuse to come at us as well. It does not make any sense. And my thing is, it's very funny that, like I said a few streams ago, Iran is playing the long game. They're basically doing to Trump what Trump has done to Cuba. Remember, he made it where nobody could give the country of Cuba any type of oil, any type of help, so much so that their entire infrastructure crashed. Their power grid crashed. Cuba is still in the dark. When Russia tried to go and give them oil, they turned the Russian ships back. So it's funny that they can put all of this, you know, this whole embargo, nobody can give Cuba any oil and Cuba needs to suffer. And that's okay. But then when Iran does the same thing, Trump is in his feelings. The audacity and the hypocrisy. So Iran is just doing what we did to Cuba. As they should, because we attacked them first. So, yeah, the whole thing is just, it's mind-boggling. I don't even know like what to think. Day in, day out, it's just something. It's always something. So it's going to be interesting, though, to just see, like, because at this point, there's not going to be any more negotiations. Iran's over it. But I am enjoying the Legos. I'm enjoying the Lego videos. I'm here for every single Lego video. There's more truth in in those Lego series than anything that CNN or Fox News are talking about. So, but thank you, Wavy. Take care of yourself and, you know, just email me, tap in with me so I know that you're okay. Because I can at least read my emails. So let me go ahead and get to the next story here. So this next, so we kind of talked about it earlier in the week. Well, Friday. And I really didn't get to hit on it. But this is about a young lady named Denisha Delancy. And so she left the club. She was with her sister. She went out there for her sister's birthday party. And, you know, there was a drug dealer there, really popular guy, lots of money. And she decided to leave the club with him, okay? But what she didn't know is that there were some ops following him because he had some, you know, beef in the streets. And the ops followed and they lit up the car and they not only killed him, they killed her. So this caused a lot of controversy online. So we're going to go ahead and watch this video about it. Just like maybe, we're not going to watch the whole thing, but we're going to watch some of the video, the backstory. Then her sister came out and spoke about the situation. I got some things to say about that as well. So give me just a second here. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch this here.
They were dancing, having the time of their lives, and doing what anyone their age would do on a fun night out. That is when Denisha met a man named Quincy Damon Sylvester, Trinidadian businessman, friendly, charming. He ran what looked on the surface like a completely legitimate PVC pipe installation and sales business on the island. He came across as someone who knew the island well, someone generous, someone safe to be around. The kind of local who makes a tourist feel welcomed and at ease. And I want to be very careful here, because what happened next is something that countless people have done on vacations around the world without anything bad ever happening. When the night wound down, Denisha's sister and her friend headed back to the Airbnb with their hired driver. Denisha chose to stay out a little longer with Quincy. Just a ride. Just more time hanging out after a fun night. That was all it was supposed to be. Think about that for a moment. How many of us have made that exact same choice? Stayed out a little later, caught a ride with someone new, said, I'll catch up with you guys later. It feels so small in the moment, so
Okay, and this is what I hate about this, because let's not act like this is just the norm. I've never been on a strange island, young or not. I don't care if it was Miami or the Bahamas. I've never met somebody the same night been like, yeah, I'm about to go home with you. So let's not normalize this. I know it's AI talking, but a lot of people talk like that on social media. Well, we've all done it. No, we haven't. No, we haven't. Even in my younger days, in my 20s, we didn't. We had the mentality when we were growing up, come together, leave together. So I hate that mentality is, oh, we've all done. No, we haven't. So I don't know why AI is spreading these lies, because no, we haven't. You know, it's one thing if it was like a whole group thing, like, okay, we're all going to go out to eat afterwards, a public place. You know, we jump in our car, they jump in theirs, and we all go to the Waffle House. You know, we've done that, like, you know, groups of people. Like, you know, we all have fun at the club, but I'm not going back to nobody's hotel room. I'm not leaving solo dolo with somebody. So, like, let's not normalize this. A lot of people have never done that. So I just want to make that clear. Let's continue listening to what AI got to say.
ordinary. But nothing about what happened next was ordinary. The White Rabbit was done for the night, but Quincy was not. Instead of heading home, he decided to keep the night going and drive to another club. Denisha was with him, probably thinking nothing of it. Just another stop, just more music, more vibes, more of what a Caribbean night out is supposed to feel like. Completely unaware that somewhere behind them in that same darkness, a car full of men with guns was following their every move. They were on that road, the night still ahead of them, when everything exploded. At approximately 3:30 in the morning, on a quiet stretch called Arlett Peters Road, also known as Old Cake House Road in Phillipsburg, the SUV was ambushed. Gunmen came out of nowhere. Shots rang out in the dark. The vehicle was struck multiple times and overturned violently on the road. When police arrived, responding initially to what looked like a serious traffic accident, they found 2 people inside the wrecked vehicle, both shot, both dead, Denisha Delancy and Quincy Damon Sylvester. Gone. Now here is the part I need you to sit with. Back at the Airbnb, Denisha's sister Sincaria was asleep. She had gone home earlier with the driver like they planned. She probably fell asleep thinking her sister was still out having fun, still dancing, still laughing, still alive. She had no idea that while she slept, her sister was already gone. That the birthday trip she had looked forward to for months had already become the worst night of both their lives. Only one of them would ever know that. Think about waking up in a foreign country and realizing your sister never came back. Because Quincy Damon Sylvester, the charming businessman Denisha had just met hours before, was not just a businessman. Investigators believe he was deeply embedded in drug trafficking networks operating across the Caribbean. His PVC pipe company, authorities suspect, was a front, a clean-looking cover for very dirty business. And somewhere in that criminal world, someone had decided that his time was up. They had probably decided that long before Denisha ever stepped foot on that island, long before she even packed her suitcase. Surveillance footage recovered from a nearby location showed unknown individuals carefully monitoring Quincy's movements from the moment he left the White Rabbit. They followed him through the night, patient, calculating, waiting for the right road and the right moment. And when he turned onto that quiet stretch at 3:30 in the morning, they made their move. It was a professional hit. Cold, planned, and executed without hesitation. And Denisha was sitting in the passenger seat when it happened. She had been in his company for just a few hours. She did not know his world. She had no idea that the very moment she smiled at him across that nightclub, she had unknowingly walked into the last hours of her life. She had no idea that those men were already watching, already waiting, already decided that no matter where Quincy went that night, they were going to find him, and she just happened to be there. She was 29 years old. She had a mother at home, a sister on that same island who would wake up the next morning and never be the same again. She had...
Okay, we're not gonna watch the whole thing. Got good after a while. Sound like the ID channel. I'm like, damn, get back to the live. But again, It's insane. And this happened at 3:30 in the morning. They had been together for a few hours. They had left the one club. I believe, I already said this during my last live stream. This was some hookup type stuff. She seen he had money. He's probably, flossing a knot. And, she dipped. Because again, all of this stuff has been so normalized. Sex is now just so transactional. Let me give you a rack real quick. Let's go do our thing. Go back to the hotel, do something quick, go get something to eat. It's so transactional now. Because to me, there'd be no reason other than money and a transaction for her to have left her sister with a stranger. Because again, why didn't they both go with him? If it was just, we're just about to go to the next club and go clubbing together, then their whole crew would have just went with him to the next club. I mean, thank goodness they didn't all go. But the fact that it was a solo mission makes me feel like this was a hookup for money. But unfortunately, on the way back from that hookup, he was killed and she was killed. She was caught in the crossfire. So that's the part that's just really, really sad. So her sister is talking about it. So we're going to listen to what she has to say. She's been going off, but okay, girl. We're going to go ahead. Because, she kind of feels the way that people have an opinion, but everybody's going to have an opinion. Social media. But we're going to go ahead and listen to what the sister got to say.
I'm on my way to see my sister, so I thought now would be the perfect time to get on here and say something, because there's just too much victim blaming going on. No matter how y'all try to spin a story, no matter if y'all blaming me, y'all blaming her, whatever, it does not fucking matter. Y'all don't know me and y'all don't know her. And I'm trying to get on here and not curse as much, but y'all really got us fucked up. It doesn't matter however y'all feel, what coulda, shoulda, whatever. It doesn't matter. An innocent life was taken, and that fucking island don't want to do shit about it because they're trying to save face for their tourists. It doesn't fucking matter. We want justice, because y'all have an active fucking gang war going on over there between St. Martin and Trinidad. Y'all don't want people to fucking know about it. So all the victim blaming needs to stop, because no matter what, we want fucking justice. And I don't even get on here and do shit like this, but y'all got my sister fucked up. And again,
well, sorry. Objection. No, we don't have you or her fucked up. I don't, I seen a lot of people saying, well, why didn't she pull her sister and tell her sister no? I don't even think it's that. Like, let's keep it real. Everybody's grown. Okay? I don't think that the younger sister needed to pull her back and say anything. My thing is, like I said, if y'all are sisters, we come together, we lead together. So maybe she told her sister, hey, don't go with him. And the sister was like, I'm grown, I'm out. There's only so much you can do for another adult. It's not like this is a 12-year-old. They're about the same age. So it's like the sister chose to go on with the guy. She chose to go on with the guy. But the thing she has to understand is that people are going to judge the situation because they feel like, why did your sister leave with the stranger? Nobody's saying it's her fault. You know what I'm saying? What happened is tragic. But we have to have honest dialogue because, like I always tell y'all, you have to understand situations. You have to learn from other people's mistakes so that way you're not destined to repeat them. So if we're just going to talk and, and walk on eggshells when we have these conversations, how is that helping young ladies who find themselves in this situation? If everybody's just going to say, oh, she's a victim, who cares about all the circumstances surrounding it? That doesn't make any sense. You have to care about all the nuances surrounding it. So that way, when young girls go out of the country, they understand how real this shit can get. So maybe the next young girl who goes out of town with her sister, her cousin, or her best friend won't leave the group. Won't go out there to go, hook up and go do some shit real quick for some money. And what she also needs to understand, like I said earlier, when things happen overseas, it's not America. A lot of them don't have the same urgency. They don't have the same resources. And they don't want y'all coming fucking up their tourism. That's how a lot of these countries eat, is based on tourism. So if it's coming out that there's gang violence and, people can't, trick off in peace, they don't want that. They want their country to be seen as safe because that's how these countries, that's a lot of these countries' GDPs. So, you know, it's messed up, but you're not going to get, you know, St. Martin ain't going to do too much, unfortunately. But let's listen back to what else she has to say. You know, she's more mad at the audience than she is at the Damon, the guy that, you know, went off with her sister.
Again, I'm trying not to curse. But stop. All we want is justice. For one, I'm not giving y'all the story time, but for one, them fucking people lied to us when we first got there. They told us that it was a car accident. Whole time they fucking knew my sister had got shot. They tried to make it seem like, oh, it was just an accident, whatever. If it was not for our driver, we would not know shit. We learned more from the locals than we did from the police. And still to this day, they're trying to keep us out the loop. They don't want to tell us shit. It was not until this story or whatever got some traction that they wanted to update their news site, call her mom, say, oh, we have this person in custody, whatever. But before that, it was fucking crickets from them. They were so nasty to us. When they told me and my girlfriend, they were so nasty. They had no sympathy, no nothing, no empathy, no nothing. They tell us the news, oh, she's been in an accident, and we, you know, reacting, crying, whatever. And they're looking at us like we're fucking crazy, like, okay, y'all can't sit in here and do this. Y'all got to get the fuck out of my office. That's literally how they treated us, and that's how we felt. We was asking for answers for days. It was not until I went back the next day and asked them, was she shot? Because the fucking driver, our private driver, told us that. He told us everything. Everything we already knew before we got there what was up, but they did not want to tell us nothing. They wanted to lie and say it was a car accident to save fucking face for those tourists, because they did not want it to get out that an American innocent female had been murdered. All we want is justice for my sister. I don't give a fuck how y'all feel. I don't give a fuck how y'all want to turn a narrative on her and say that she could have did this, should have did this. It doesn't fucking matter. She was innocent and did not deserve that shit. Justice for Denisha.
Did you hear about the woman from...
Okay. So y'all just heard what the sister had to say. Come back on the screen. So, you know, again, I understand her frustration. I understand her being angry, you know, and yeah, Denisha does deserve justice like anybody else, you know. But again, we're still going to have them real conversations. You know, like somebody said in the chat, correction is protection. We have to remember that. Everything is not meant, you know, to be judgy, but you have to correct certain things to protect people. Somebody else in the chat said that their big sister ended up embarrassing her in front of everybody when she tried to walk off with the dude that she didn't know. She said, had my sister not done that, who know where I'd be to this day? You know, so people are going to have conversations about this. And again, and it's not just, you know, something with black women. I talked about this Friday. Remember the Indian girl? She went off with that white boy. Ain't nobody seen that Indian girl since. Beautiful girl. And her parents, you know, were very embarrassed. They called off the search. They're like, well, you know, she's gone. They didn't even want to talk about it because, again, for them, that was shame on their family. That their daughter would go out there and get drunk and, you know, run off with this white guy. And now, you know, who knows if she was in the ocean, what happened to her? And this is where people have to understand that I think part of it is when people are on vacation, a lot of times we let our guards down, right? Because it's vacation and, you know, we're not working, we're able to drink and put our hair down, but you still have to have situational awareness. Because just because you're on vacation does not mean that, you know, everything is okay. You still have to be aware of your surroundings. You still have to be aware of what's going on. You don't want to just get shit-faced just because you're on vacation, because guess what? The wolves are watching. They're watching who's drunk. They're watching who's high off their mind. They're watching who they can take advantage of. And especially if you're a foreigner and a tourist, and then you're going to these countries where folks don't really got it like that. So you have to be very, very careful. You know, have your fun, you know what I'm saying? But like, just be smart. Stay with your group. Don't separate. You know? But yeah, I mean, it's sad. I mean, the same thing with Natalie Holloway. A lot of people caught this out back then. you know, they try and make it in the media like, you know, Natalie was just walking down the beach and, you know, was attacked. No, Natalie was hooking up with Jordan Vandersloot on the beach when she should have been with her class. Not victim blaming, but I'm just saying. Like, we got to start having these real conversations, because these real conversations can save your life. She was there on a class trip with her friends. Nobody knew that she had snuck out to go hang out with Jordan Vandersloot. And that monster ended up, you know, they hooked up and he killed her. He was a psychopath. And then killed the next woman years later. You know, but the media wants to report it like she was just frolicking, you know, on the beach one morning and disappeared. Well, no, that's not what happened. And this is what happens when young people drink and, you know, go out of town and have a good time. Again, have fun, but understand that the wolves are out here. Things can happen. And it doesn't have to be a tropical island. Look at all the stuff that's gone down in Houston. You know, people coming back home with STDs and some more shit, you know? So you have to just be really, really careful. You know, stop thinking that just because you're hooking up with somebody or you're doing some stuff for some money that, you know, you guys are on the same page and you guys are safe. Who remembers when I did the call-in show when we were talking about flued out culture, and the one lady called, I want to say she might have been from Nicaragua. She called from overseas, and she talked about how one of her friends had been talking to a guy in America, I want to say New York, for months. He seemed like a really good guy. He wanted to fly her from overseas to America. She gave all her friends the info. This is his name, address, you know, did everything that she thought was safe. He flew her out, you know, and he basically beat her ass and kept her captive. She could have died. Lucky for her, she was able to escape and go back home to overseas. But that was a real story, you know, her getting flued out. And they were there kicking it for like a few days. He seemed super sweet. He was taking her shopping, out to eat. You know, she thought she won the jackpot. Y'all remember that? Okay, I'm glad y'all remember. She caught him with that cautionary tale. And the man just beat her ass for no reason. She could have been killed. And again, it's not to victim blame or judge, but we got to move smart. Some of these dudes out here are not wrapped too tight. So you got to be careful. Yeah, yep, he had pulled out a gun on her. Yeah, it's on one of my podcasts on Spotify. Y'all can go. Yeah, y'all go ahead and make sure y'all listen to my old Spotify call-in shows. We did a lot of really good shows for like 2 years straight. There's a lot of tea in them shows too as well. But we did one on fluent culture where people were calling in about their different stories. So the Spotify Green Room. Yeah. Let me see. I think that's all I had. Yeah, that was just sad. I feel bad for both of these ladies. Okay, let me read the rest of these super chats here. Time is just flying. I can't believe I've been out here for almost 2 hours already. Wow. Let's see here. April Ray sent $9.99, sent a super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Glois80 sent $10. She says, as a DV survivor, I had a cop tell me what it is to have all of that when you are dead. What it is to have all of that when you're dead, when I'm telling him that I was afraid to start over again. And that was my motivation to leave everything behind. Oh, Well, I'm glad that the cop kept it real with you, you know, and really talked to you. Because I know it can be hard when you're thinking about starting over and starting from scratch. But all of that means nothing, because if that person takes your life, none of that stuff mattered anyways, because you can't take it with you. So I'm really grateful that you got out that situation. You know, how many times have I done stories on here, even as recently as the girl La La La, you know, the transgender who was, you know, in that domestic violence situation with that dude who was clearly, you know, he claimed he was bi, but he wasn't as confident in his sexuality, and he ended up killing her. But the whole time, you know, they're just beating on each other. He's beating on her, and, you know, they thought it was a game. And then it just turned deadly. So I'm glad you got out. I see a lot of people complaining about the ads. I don't know what YouTube is doing. I know I was going back and reading some of the comments from last week's streams that they were just playing ads all through my live stream. I don't know why. Child, the money ain't money. I guess they said I'm not able to opt out of auto ads. I don't know why the ads are all of a sudden playing. But I know they did raise the price of the ad, the premium. So they sent me an email. They did raise the price. So everybody's raising their prices. It's insane. Pink Butterfly sent $20, says, wishing you a quick and comfortable recovery. We'll miss you. Love you. Love you too. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, sis. Daniel Julian sent $11, says, hey T, bonjour from France. I'm Night Coder in the Discord. This is my first super chat ever to tell you how much I love you. And I send you all the best energy from the hospital for your hospital hiatus. Love you. Oh, merci beaucoup. Appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Don to Daylight sent $4.99, says, a girl that I went to the club with left me alone for a man that she met that night. She didn't care. Turned her location off and everything. Wow. Yeah, some people are like that. You know, some people are like that. They'll meet somebody and they're out. And it's a shame. But, you know, again, you only have one life to live. So, you know, that's on her. If she wants to go chase dick, let her. You know, don't get yourself involved in a situation that you may not come back from. So, but yeah, some people are like that, unfortunately. That's why I said I can't, you know, I saw people blaming the sister. You can't blame the sister because maybe she told her sister not to go. And the sister was like, I'm going anyway. You know, there's only so much you can do for grown folks. Once grown folks have their mind made up, they're going to do what they feel they want to do. So, let's see here. Pierce Blazer sent 10, says, T, have you seen the video of men prancing around fighting and unaliving women? If she says no to them in Brazil, it's viral and other men are agreeing. It's not a color issue. It's a XY issue globally. No, I have not seen that video of men practicing fighting and unaliving women in Brazil. Is it on Twitter? I think I found it. What the hell? The title has me shook. Okay, let's watch this real quick, y'all. I wasn't even expecting the title to be like that. What kind of shit is this? Let's watch this. I don't know if it's in Spanish or not. We're gonna see.
Men are training to attack women in case she says no. This misogynistic trend is sparking outrage in Brazil following a knife attack on a woman. Helena Anísio Rosa, 20, turned down a man who had been sending her flowers and chocolates. A month later, he broke into her home and stabbed her around 50 times. He only stopped when the victim's mother intervened after returning home in São Gonçalo near Rio de Janeiro. After the attack in February, Alana was placed in a medically induced coma and took weeks to recover following multiple surgeries. At the same time, a trend went viral on TikTok in Brazil showing men hitting or stabbing mannequins or imaginary people with the slogan, I'm practicing in case she says no. According to Alana's mother, the attacker followed this type of content on social media. The case has raised concerns about increasingly common misogynistic posts and their potential impact on violence against women in Brazil. Last year, 1,586 femicides were recorded in the country, a record high. In response to the trend, many Brazilians have recreated it to show what they believe is the appropriate way to handle rejection.
Se uma mulher disser não, a melhor resposta possível é respeito.
A recent study from the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro found that 123 Brazilian YouTube channels promoting misogynistic content had reached a combined 23 million subscribers, an 18% increase over 2 years. Flavio Rolim, head of the Brazilian Federal Police's Cyber Hate Crimes Unit, described a process of radicalization among men. President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva recently said that men are becoming increasingly inhumane and violent. Several legislative proposals have been introduced to address this issue. One lawmaker has proposed criminalizing content that, in his words, leads to the death of women every day. Another bill already passed by the Senate aims to classify misogyny as a crime similar to racism, punishable by prison time.
that is horrifically frightening. And that's what I was saying when I was going through that man's Twitter, and I seen that he was MAGA. Because like I said, you know, a lot of these people end up being red-pilled. And that's just some of that ideology that women are nothing, and, you know, they're just there to be, you know, they're just there to serve men and whatever else. So that is just scary that if somebody tells you no, that's your response. You know, what happened to, okay, she said no, next, there's other fish in the sea. So that is just frightening. So that's what I'm saying, ladies, just be careful. So thank you for that information. Appreciate you. Yaritza sent $9.99, says, praying that everything goes well and that your health and spirit and energy is all the way up during this time. We'll be watching all your deep dives and old videos for my LovelyTi dose. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So thank you for that. Let's see here. Troy on the beat said, sending strength and love, T. We will hold it down until you get back. Glad I caught this live. Keep speaking truth to power. Shout out to the Discord. For sure, I definitely will. Thank you. Kita 1989 sent $100. Thank you so much, Kita. I appreciate you. Thank you for the big super chat. Thank you for coming through and blessing my stream, sis. Let's see here. Lady Pink says, we won't see you for a while. Don't leave yet. Can we talk about more topics? Did you see the Jada fight? I did. It looked like they had her in a strong headlock. I don't know what the fight was about. I saw the girl Des come in to, like, you know, grab her and, you know, help her friend out. And then they were in the car then, like, a few hours later, like, singing like nothing happened. So, I don't know. These folks, they got too much money to just be out here on crazy stuff. So, I don't know if they said something to the crowd, but people aren't playing no more. They're not dealing with the disrespect. So, who knows what happened. Yeah, it is sad. It's like global misogyny. Well, that's about it. I don't know what other topics. Yeah, it's about to be 2 hours. Yeah, it's almost 9 o'clock too. I think I hit on everything. I wanted to just kind of like really break down the Ashlee Jenae situation, just because there's, you know, just a lot of stuff to hit on, lot of nuances. I really wanted to cover that in depth, but you know, hopefully they will figure out what happened to her and she will get some type of justice, you know. But again, if I can say anything to anybody, just please, just be really smart with the way you move out here. It's not about victim blaming, victim shaming. Just understand that, you know, everybody who's out here does not mean you well. So you got to be really, really careful, especially as a woman, how you move. Oh, Melania Trump. Christine, y'all want to talk about Melania real quick before I go? Okay. For y'all who don't know, the other day Melania came out and just started, you know, nobody at all. Here comes Melania talking about she don't know Jeffrey Epstein. She ain't got nothing to do with the Epstein files. And low-key threw her husband under the bus. Said that she wants to talk to the survivors and that, you know, they need to get to the bottom of this. Well, now it's come out that one of Trump's really close friends, he's the one who introduced Melania and his wife when they were 18. They met each other. He used to own like a modeling agency for Eastern European women. And he introduced Melania to Jeffrey Epstein. And they say that Jeffrey Epstein had Melania first, allegedly. But eventually she got with Trump. Well, that woman had been married to that man. I forgot it. What's his name? I forget his name. But they had been married. And so what ended up happening is that he hit up ICE and asked ICE to go and detain her because he was trying to fight to get full custody of his son. Have y'all heard the tea about this? So he hit up ICE. She ends up in ICE detention for weeks. They end up deporting her. And Melania was like one of her best friends. Melania did nothing. So the woman went off on Twitter about it to Melania and said that she would basically expose everything. And then that's why Melania ended up doing that whole press conference. Let me see if I can find. It was like all these tweets and everything else. It was insane. Yeah, it's all over Twitter. I can't think of the lady's name. Let me see if y'all wrote it in here. Okay, Amanda. She's a Brazilian model. Yep, Amanda Ungaro. That is her name. Let me see if I can find her tweets so I can show y'all. Oh, now it looks like the mainstream media is starting to cover it. It looks like the mainstream. Everybody's been talking about it on Twitter, but it looks like the mainstream is finally trying to cover it. Okay, so that don't want to upload. Let me see if I can pull up her tweets. Oh, she's talking.
I am going to officially start doing a series to seek justice. I apologize to my attorneys, but I'll get permission from you later.
This is what Melania's afraid of. Oh, she's doing a series. Oh, she wants all the smoke. Okay, let me just
Ungaro is unleashing.
So, this whole situation is messy as hell if y'all have not seen this. Okay, let me show y'all this. Okay, let me show y'all her tweets. Okay, hold on. Let's hit on this real quick. Okay. So she posted this literally like 2 days before Melania did that press conference. So we'll start from the bottom. She says, at Flotus45, do you know what I think about you after 20 years? She says, we'll take legal action against you and your pedophile husband. I have known you for 20 years. You knew I was detained in ICE. You were present in my life every year on my son's birthday, even sending Secret Service and being the first to congratulate him back in 2016. Something was clearly wrong, but I'm not a part of any evil mission involving children. So what did you do, Melania? You tried to involve me, but you failed because I have character. She said, I will tear down your corrupt system, even if it's the last thing I do in my life. I will go all the way. I am not afraid. Maybe you should be afraid of what I know, of who you are and who your husband is. I have nothing left to lose in my life. I will tear down the entire system. Be careful with me, bitch, until you fall as a little chicken. So yeah, that is Amanda. So she went in on Melania that day. And then Melania came out with that whole trying to distance herself from Epstein. So that whole situation is a mess. This is the video I was watching here. Hold on. Start from the beginning.
Hi, my name is Victoria, and I am coming on here to say that I am going to officially start doing a series to seek justice. I apologize to my attorneys, but I'll get permission from you later.
Okay, so this is Victoria. This is not Amanda.
Anyways, essentially, we have gone through this for many, many years. This needs to be put to an end with the Epstein files, with Melania coming out and saying that she had no ties to Epstein. I will literally, being personally involved with Paolo Zampoli, reporting me and my dad to the FBI when he committed the crime. He committed the crime. Me and my dad did nothing. We did nothing wrong. Reported us to the FBI, report us to the Department of State, is trying to actively sue us. We did nothing wrong. You are the perpetrator, you are a criminal, and I am going to start doing a series on you, Jean-Luc Brunel, Jeffrey Epstein, and Donald Trump. So get ready. And Pam Bondi. But you no longer have... Hi, my name is Victoria.
Okay, I gotta follow her. She says Jean-Luc Brunel, the one that killed himself. Oh, she about to spill all the tea. I'm gonna have to follow her. I'm gonna be on lockdown following her, getting all that tea. Wow. So it looks like this whole administration is just crumbling in on themselves at this point. And so it's almost like, remember the R. Kelly situation when everybody started jumping ship and they started pointing fingers and, oh, but you were getting girls from the mall and you were booking tickets for R. Kelly and you were bringing girls to the studio. You took Aaliyah to go get an abortion. It's like that. Now that the shit is getting ready to hit the fan, everybody's trying to jump ship. So, yeah, this is insane. So, yeah, if you guys are not up on that Melania tea, that's what's going on. Is that Amanda is threatening to expose her, and this other lady just came out. She's about to start spilling the tea on stuff too. So, yeah, it's about to be nuts in this White House. I don't know what I don't know what her, let me see what her name is again. Let me read the comments.
Hi, my name is Victoria, and I am coming.
Okay, her name is Victoria. Let me see if there's any, if they have like her first and last name, so y'all can look her up. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna find her. Put in Victoria Melania in TikTok and it might come up. I wonder if she's like started her series, because she posted this on the 11th. Today's the 13th. Let me go ahead and go to TikTok real quick. Victoria. See if anything comes up. Mainly Victoria's Secrets and Melania. Do y'all have the lady's last name, the Victoria lady? She goes by V. I'm trying to see if anybody wrote her last name in here. Yeah, because when I put in Melania and Victoria, it's Victoria's Secrets that comes up. But I'm trying to find, okay, hold on. Here goes a YouTuber, and I mean a TikToker talking about it.
Jeff.
Okay, everybody keeps saying Victoria, but what's Victoria's last name?
Epstein's still alive. As is his cellmate, Efren Reyes.
Okay, hold on. She's spilling some tea. We gotta watch this. Hold on. She said Epstein is still alive. Hold on. All right, let's watch this real quick. Hold on.
Jeffrey Epstein's still alive. As is his cellmate, Efren Reyes. Have a great day.
Ooh, the floodgates are open. Just did the story on Amanda yesterday. Now, Victoria is coming forward to talk, and she's got some tea.
Okay,
let's hear a little bit about...
He got music playing. Ain't about trying to hear.
Say that I on here. Hi, my name is Victoria, and I am coming on here to say that I am going.
Okay, we already heard all that. But it looks like, I don't know, y'all gonna have to Google Victoria. If y'all have her last name, please write it. But yeah, it looks like Victoria is not holding back. Because when I put it in, it's not, you know, it's coming up Victoria's Secrets. And it might be the fact that they might be messing with her in the algorithm too. Let me try and Google. Let me see. Victoria. I'm going to Google something and see if her name comes up. Socialite lady, Victoria. I found it. Or no, oh, hold on. Is this her? Victoria. Is there suggesting anyone? No, I don't think that's her. No. I thought I had her, but no, I'm gonna have to like dig further. He shows her TikTok at the end of his video. Okay, let me go back to TikTok. Hold on. He's playing so much music. Hold on.
Oh, the fact, vote like this in the comments. And if you haven't followed me yet, please do. Have a day! Victoria knows alive and well, including his cellmate. Again, I don't know the facts of it. I'm just reporting on it. And Victoria here seems to know a lot. And from the look of Melania's face when she notices Victoria videotaping her, I think Melania knows that Victoria knows a lot of stuff too. The walls are closing in on you and your husband. Guys, tell me what you think about this in the comments. And if you haven't followed me yet, please do.
He says his last name and his info. He don't say hers, but it is what it is. That's the tea. So for y'all who don't know, that's what's going on right now with Melania Trump and Victoria Silverstedt. Okay, y'all found it? Thank you. All right, let me go ahead and pull it up. Okay. All right, hold on. Let me put in her name. Okay, I found her TikTok. I don't see where she's talking though. These are like all modelly pictures. I'm trying to find like any other videos. I'm seeing some people talking about her, but I'm trying to see like her videos. Spilling the tea. Yeah, this is definitely a rabbit hole. Let me see what this person's saying.
Have you guys seen this video?
Hold on, let's watch this video. This is what I love about TikTok. It will take you down like a whole rabbit hole. Hold on.
The girl who recorded this video, her name is Victoria. And yesterday evening when I was eating dinner, I lucked out and joined a live that she was in, sharing receipts, her story, some of it anyways. And this girl knows a lot of very powerful people, and she can prove it.
What?
I 100% believe her. As a survivor myself, she has too much evidence and too many details. I encourage you all to follow her so you can see for yourself. Thank you, Victoria, for being so brave and speaking up, because you and your friend Amanda can in a way that is so powerful and so needed. And also, everyone needs to share her videos, follow her to keep her safe. Have you guys seen this?
All right, y'all. So, and she had Victoria's TikTok in on the video, so y'all can just copy and paste it. But yeah, honey, it's a mess. It's more stuff going on right now with this whole administration. I'm going to just kick back and sip my tea. So I'm going to read these last few super chats. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. Let me see. Delane Garland, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. I appreciate you. So thank you for that. Miss Melanated said, unfortunately, the girl was collateral damage. She was. Very much so, which is sad. Red Nor said, T, it's been a while, but I wish and pray you have a speedy recovery. I'm glad I caught the live. You are so welcome. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Kita 1989 says, sorry, LovelyTi, it wouldn't allow me to leave a message with the super chat. You're one of the strongest women I know. We absolutely love and we will miss you. Thank you so much, Kita. I appreciate you, and thank you again for the super chat. SA Coop 1 sent 199 says, Melania strikes me as cold and friendless. Yeah. Yeah, she just looks like she's going through the motions at this point. You can tell they're in a loveless marriage. They don't really like each other. Delaney Garland for 40 cent 9.99 says the chickens are coming home to roost. I agree. So y'all make sure y'all keep it with that Melania tea. Like I said, I'll still try and drop some videos over the next few days, week and a half. But eventually I probably will end up handing everything over to my editor, and he'll just be working on content and stuff for me until I get back out. But in the meantime, you guys, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. I said it at the beginning of the live. This is going to be my last live stream for a long while. But you can still support this channel by just watching my old videos and, watching my old content and stuff like that. So thank you guys. I love you guys. And I will see you guys soon. Bye, everyone. Bye, y'all.